Think about the last time you took a sip of water. You probably didn't think twice about it. You were thirsty, you found a glass, and you drank until the sensation faded. Simple, automatic, mechanical. But that mechanical act, that thoughtless, rushed, almost unconscious reaching for a glass, is where most of us are quietly failing our bodies on a level so deep it rarely shows up in a doctor's office, yet it makes itself known every single day in the fog behind your eyes, the dryness of your skin, the exhaustion that sleep never quite fixes. There is an old teaching from a renowned Russian physician who spent decades studying the intersection of cellular biology and human behavior. His core finding was startlingly simple. Most of us are not actually hydrating. We are rinsing our systems, flushing the pipes. Because hydration, true hydration, is not just about the volume of water you consume. It is about the rhythm, the temperature, the timing, and the internal state in which you receive it. And almost all of us are getting at least one of these wrong. Today, we are going to go through 9 of the most common mistakes people make with water. Mistakes that are not dramatic or obvious, but quiet and cumulative. The kind that erode your vitality slowly enough that you stop noticing. And more importantly, we are going to understand not just what to change, but why. Because when you understand the biology beneath the behavior becomes almost effortless to shift. Mistake 1. Drinking water in a state of stress. Your nervous system is the invisible gatekeeper of your hydration. This is the insight that the Russian physician returned to again and again, and it is the one that modern cellular biology is only now beginning to confirm. When your body is in a state of stress, even low-grade, chronic, barely noticeable stress, it shifts into a mode of conservation and defense. And in that mode, the cells of your body do something extraordinary. They tighten. The membrane of every cell in your body is not a passive wall. It is an intelligent, responsive barrier that opens and closes based on signals from your nervous system. In a calm parasympathetic state, those membranes are permeable. They are ready to receive, to absorb, to be nourished. But in a sympathetic, fight or flight state, the state that most of us now inhabit for large portions of our waking hours, those membranes constrict. They prioritize defense over absorption, which means that when you gulp down a glass of water while scanning your emails, or while half watching the news, or while mentally rehearsing an argument you need to have, your cells are not really receiving that water. The liquid moves through your system without being properly absorbed, leaving you paradoxically dehydrated even after drinking. The first and most foundational correction is this. Before you drink, pause. Take 2 or 3 slow, deliberate breaths. Soften your shoulders. Come back to your body. Signal to your nervous system that this moment is safe. This simple act, 30 seconds of presence, can transform the quality of every sip you take. Mistake 2. Drinking too cold. This is perhaps the most culturally embedded mistake on this list, because we have collectively decided that cold water is refreshing and therefore good. And there is a sensation of refreshment to it, a sharp, icy clarity. But sensation and nourishment are not the same thing. When cold water enters your stomach, your body must immediately work to bring that liquid up to internal body temperature, roughly 37 degrees Celsius, before it can even begin the process of absorption. This requires energy. It causes the stomach lining to temporarily constrict. It slows gastric motility and, in doing so, delays the entire downstream process of cellular hydration. Ancient Ayurvedic medicine warned against cold water with meals for exactly this reason, framing it as the equivalent of pouring cold water on a fire you need burning. Traditional Chinese medicine echoed this. The Russian physician echoed this. And while modern Western medicine has been slow to catch up, the cellular biology is consistent. Warm or room temperature water, absorbs more efficiently, passes through the stomach lining more quickly, and reaches the bloodstream and lymphatic system with significantly less friction. The correction here is gradual. You do not need to force yourself to drink hot water. Begin by simply moving away from ice. Let your water sit until it reaches room temperature. Over time, you may find that your body begins to prefer it, not because of discipline, but because it recognizes the difference. Mistake 3: Gulping instead of sipping. There is a rhythm to true hydration, and it is slow. When you consume large amounts of water quickly, when you gulp rather than sip, you overwhelm your body's absorption capacity. The kidneys can only process a certain volume of water per hour. When that threshold is exceeded, the excess does not hydrate you. It dilutes your electrolytes, stresses your kidneys, and exits your body having contributed almost nothing to cellular nourishment. Think of a garden that has been baking in the summer sun for days. If you take a high-pressure hose and blast the soil, the water runs off the surface. It creates mud at the edges. It never reaches the deep roots. To truly nourish the soil, you need a slow, gentle drizzle, one that allows the earth to open, absorb, and draw the moisture downward. Your cells work the same way. Small, slow, deliberate sips give your body time to process each increment of water before the next arrives. They give your stomach lining time to channel that moisture into the bloodstream. They allow the lymphatic system to do its quiet, essential work without being overwhelmed. This is not about drinking less. It is about drinking with more intelligence. The same total volume of water, consumed slowly across the day in steady sips rather than in rushed glasses, can produce dramatically different outcomes in how you feel. Mistake 4: Waiting until you are thirsty. Thirst is not a signal that you need water. Thirst is a signal that you are already behind. By the time your brain registers and reports thirst, you are typically in a state of mild dehydration, somewhere between 1 and 2% below optimal cellular hydration. That 1 to 2% sounds negligible. It is not. Studies in cognitive performance have shown that even mild dehydration at that level measurably reduces concentration, slows reaction time, impairs short-term memory, and darkens mood. The foggy mid-afternoon brain that so many people attribute to the post-lunch slump, or to poor sleep, or to the inherent grind of modern life, a significant portion of it is simply dehydration. Not dramatic, not dangerous, just chronic and low-grade, the kind that hums beneath the surface of every hour. The correction is to build a rhythm that does not depend on thirst. Drink a glass of water upon waking, before your nervous system has even fully oriented to the day. Drink a glass before each meal. Keep water visible at your desk, not hidden in a bag or another room. The goal is to maintain steady cellular hydration throughout the day, rather than attempting to catch up once the deficit has already made itself felt. Mistake 5: Ignoring morning hydration. The hours between when you fall asleep and when you wake are 8 hours, sometimes more, during which your body receives no water at all. But your body does not stop working during those hours. It is processing, repairing, detoxifying. Your lymphatic system is clearing cellular waste. Your kidneys are filtering. Your brain is consolidating memory and washing itself through the lymphatic system, a process that, researchers have discovered, is significantly more active during sleep than during waking hours. All of this metabolic activity costs water, which means that by the time you open your eyes in the morning, you are in a state of mild dehydration almost by definition. Your blood is slightly thicker. Your lymph is more viscous. Your cells are operating at less than full capacity. What you do in the first 20 minutes after waking determines the trajectory of your cellular function for hours. A glass or two of room temperature water, ideally with a small pinch of natural mineral salt, or a squeeze of lemon to support electrolyte balance, signals to your body that the night's fast is over, the day's replenishment has begun. It activates digestion, it clears the lymphatic pathways, it delivers a quiet but powerful message to every cell. It is safe to open now. Many people who begin this practice report that the mental clarity they experience by mid morning within the first week surprises them. They had normalized the morning fog so completely that they had forgotten what it felt like not to have it. Mistake 6. Drinking large amounts with meals. Water is essential to digestion, but timing matters deeply. Your stomach secretes hydrochloric acid to begin the breakdown of food. This acid is potent, specific, and calibrated. When you drink large amounts of water during a meal, you dilute that acid. You reduce its concentration and effectiveness. The result is that your food is not broken down as efficiently, meaning that fewer nutrients are extracted and absorbed, and the digestive process takes longer and requires more energy. This does not mean you should eat in a completely waterless state. A few small sips during a meal, to aid in swallowing or to clear the palate, are unlikely to cause significant disruption. But the large glass of water that many people drink alongside their food, or the habit of washing each bite down with a swallow, gradually erodes digestive efficiency over time. The wiser rhythm is this: drink a full glass of water 30 minutes before a meal, which hydrates the stomach lining and primes the digestive system. Allow 30 to 45 minutes after eating before drinking a full glass again. This simple adjustment, requiring no willpower, no discipline, only awareness, can meaningfully improve how thoroughly you absorb the nutrition from the food you are already eating. Mistake 7. Relying on other beverages to hydrate. Coffee, tea, juice, sparkling water, flavored drinks. We live in an era of extraordinary beverage variety, and much of what people count toward their daily hydration is not, in any meaningful biological sense, hydrating them. Caffeine is a mild diuretic. For every cup of coffee or caffeinated tea you consume, your body expels a portion of its water reserves in excess of what the beverage itself contributed. The net hydration gain from a caffeinated drink is significantly lower than it appears, and for people who are particularly sensitive to caffeine's diuretic effects, some caffeinated drinks may result in a net hydration loss. Sugary beverages, sodas, fruit juices, sweetened teas create their own set of problems. The sugar they contain triggers an insulin response, alters the osmotic balance of your blood, and draws water out of cells in the process of metabolizing that sugar. You may feel momentarily refreshed, but at a cellular level, the transaction has cost you more than it gave. Plain water, still clean, mineral-rich, remains irreplaceable, not as a punishment, not as deprivation, but as a recognition that the body was designed for one primary hydration source, and that source has no substitute. Mistake 8. Not accounting for electrolytes. Water without electrolytes is like a key without a lock. The movement of water into your cells is not a passive process. It is governed by osmosis, the movement of water across a membrane from an area of low solute concentration to high. What this means in practice is that your cells need certain minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium, chloride, to be present in the right proportions in order to draw water inside. Many people who drink generous amounts of water throughout the day and still feel dehydrated are experiencing this exact imbalance. They are consuming volume without the electrolytes that allow that volume to cross the cellular membrane and do its actual work. The water circulates, it passes through the kidneys, it exits the body, but it never fully enters the cells that need it most. This is especially relevant for people who sweat regularly through exercise, who eat a low-sodium diet, or who consume large amounts of plain water without any mineral supplementation. A small pinch of Himalayan salt or sea salt in your morning glass. A squeeze of citrus or mineral-rich water can make a significant difference in how thoroughly your cells absorb the water you are already drinking. The goal is not to salt your water dramatically. It is simply to ensure that the key has a lock to open. Mistake 9. Treating hydration as a task rather than a practice. This is the most subtle mistake and in many ways the most consequential. We have been trained to think of health behaviors as tasks to be completed. Drink 8 glasses, hit the number, check the box, move on. And when hydration is reduced to a task, it becomes something we do quickly and thoughtlessly between more important things, which brings us full circle back to the first mistake, back to stress, back to tightened cell membranes, back to water that passes through without truly nourishing. The Russian physician's deepest teaching was not about temperature or timing or electrolytes, though all of those matter. His deepest teaching was about relationship, the relationship you have with your own body, the quality of attention you bring to the basic acts of nourishing it. When you bring presence to the act of drinking water, when you hold the glass for a moment before drinking, when you take a breath, when you feel the warmth or coolness moving down through your chest, when you drink slowly and with something resembling gratitude, you are not being dramatic or spiritual in some vague sense. You are activating a genuine, measurable physiological shift. You are moving your nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic. You are opening the cellular gates. Hydration, done this way, becomes not a task you complete but a practice you return to, many times each day, quietly, with care. And over weeks and months, that quality of care accumulates into something that shows in your eyes, in your skin, in the clarity of your thinking, and the evenness of your energy. The body you are living in is ancient and intelligent. It knows how to heal, how to absorb, how to renew, given the right conditions. Today, you begin giving it those conditions, one slow, intentional sip at a time.